welcome you to the lecture series on human values and professional ethics. And the topic that I'm going to cover today is professional ethics in the light of proper understanding. In order to explicate the point which has been stated in the chapter, I'll be dividing it into parts and subpoints. So, without wasting any time, let's start with the chapter. The first 4 points that I'm going to discuss straight away, they are: profession is an important human domain, need of profession, and then I'll be discussing the current definition of profession, and the 4th point will be ethical human conduct in profession. So let's start with the first point. Profession is an important human domain. We all need to realize that as human beings, we need to be involved in one kind of profession or the other. Ideally speaking, we all want utopias to exist. But if we pay attention to the definition of utopia, even in a utopia, no one says that a human being should be totally idle. An idle mind is a devil's workshop, kindly remember this. So, profession of any kind is important. The next important thing that comes up is that what is the need of profession? Now there are 2 subparts of it. One is the individual part and the other is the societal part. It is through profession that we make available all the physical facilities that we need in our life. If we are in a profession, then only there are chances that we'll be able to get all those physical facilities at the individual level. But at the societal level, it is only by being in profession that we can be independent. And if we are independent, then only we can do something good for the other person. Having highlighted the need of profession, now let us discuss the definition of profession. So instead of giving very general definitions of profession, I'll give you the definition of profession which is there in Oxford Dictionary. Now, Oxford Dictionary defines profession as a paid occupation which involves prolonged training and formal qualification. Now, the basic point towards which I want to attract your attention is that the definition highlights that it is a paid occupation. A lot of emphasis is on earning money in return of providing services. Now, if the entire focus is on earning money, that humane part is left out somewhere. Our entire system today is telling us that we should develop the skill set because in the market we need to give services to people, and in return to those services we'll be paid. So when someone hires us in a profession, he pays for the services, and then once he has bought our services, he does not pay any attention to my well-being as an individual, my well-being or my interaction with people in society, with members of my family. My one-to-one interaction with that person is not that good. Reason is simple: he has bought my services. So need of the hour is to add that ethical part to the profession. Need of the hour is to highlight the fact that through a profession, an individual should be able to take part in the higher order of existence. Through a profession, an individual should be able to make one's own life happy, but at the same time, he should be able to make the other person's life happy and good also. This is one thing which is seriously lacking in today's society. Let's have an example. Let us suppose I am in a particular business and I earn a lot of money by exploiting people. Now, this is not an ethical part or ethical dimension of a profession. Why? Because I may be happy myself, but I'm not able to make the other person happy. With the passage of time, science and technology has made a lot of progress. We have moved towards conquering nature. Of course, it's not possible, but at least human beings are making efforts to do it today. But with the passage of time, the requirement was that we all should have understood that there's a limit till which we can exploit nature or people, and after that, the entire structure will start falling apart. Our education system today does not tell us this, and the current scenario is that the other person's loss is my gain, is the mantra that we all follow. So, professionally, we all should have the skill set agreed, but then we should keep in mind that we should make ethical choices, right choices, and we should not make the other person unhappy. Our profession should be a means to make us happy, but at the same time to make the other person happy as well. So this was a bit of background information about profession. Now we shift on to the next thing. The next important thing is that today, in the name of creating ethical competence in profession, there's a lot of preaching going on. People do not practice what they say. So when a lot of preaching is there, lot many people don't follow those things, because on paper everything sounds very good, but in reality it cannot be implemented. So let's now look at some of the prevailing malpractices or prevailing problems in different professions. If we have a look at the society today, we are facing problems like corruption. People are corrupt when they are in profession. We are facing problems like black marketing. We are facing problems like red tapeism. We are facing problems like adulteration, and the list is endless. Now, my question to you is that if we are having so many problems professionally, what exactly are we doing to solve these problems? Today, as I said earlier on, since a lot of preaching is done, so we are not opting for the practical things. We are not trying to cater to the root cause of the problem. So solution to these problems which are provided these days, they are like we force people, and I use the word force, to take various kinds of oaths that they'll not give bribe, they'll not take bribe. We try to give examples to people that they should follow things like honesty, but there are no role models today. So the problem with all these things is that their nature is very temporary. Even if someone wants to see a change in society, even if someone wants to change himself or herself, by taking all these oaths and all, by listening to all these examples, that change can be there, but for a very less time. So what can be done? We need to improve the understanding of people. And if the understanding of people improves, then only they'll realize that they need to work hard to improve their competence. Today, people lack competence big time. There's no problem with the intention of people. People want that society should change for the better, but it is the competence which is lacking. And competence, friends, can improve only if there is proper understanding. Now, let us have a look at the current scenario of various professions so that it becomes easier for us to understand where we stand. So I love to call it a reality check. It is the situation with every kind of profession, so I'm not pinpointing at a particular profession. So let's start with the profession of agriculture, and then we'll shift on to other professions one by one. So let us suppose a person is involved in agriculture and there's a drought. What is the ethical thing to be done by that person? The ethical thing now is that if that person has some stock of the food grain, he should distribute it to people. Will it happen today? It won't happen. The tendency in the person will be to hoard that stock. Why? Because there will be scarcity in the market. And if there's scarcity in the market, prices will shoot up and then he'll sell the product. So on one hand, we talk about changing society. On the other hand, we do not even mind if people go without food. Now, am I blaming only people involved in agriculture? Certainly not. Now, let's change the profession. Now, let's shift to the profession of teachers. Are teachers doing all the ethical things professionally? No, answer is in the negative. Even they are not doing all the ethical things, the right things. We come across various examples today wherein teachers deliberately do not teach well in classes and then give hints to students that if you want to score marks, take private tuitions from us. Not an ethical thing. And Let's leave aside this thing of private tuitions. Even otherwise, at times teachers do not teach in the classroom. They do not give their 100% because they take students and the system for granted. It is not an ethical decision on the part of the teacher. Now let us talk about lawyers. Are they ethically very sound? Do they do all the ethical things? We all know the Indian judicial system. If I go to a lawyer, if God forbids I go to a lawyer or I have to go to a lawyer because I have a problem, even if that problem can be solved out of court, majority of the lawyers will today guide or misguide me to go to court. Why? Because there they can prolong the case and they can earn big bucks from me. I might have to sell off my property just to pay the fees of the lawyer, but that lawyer will not be bothered about it. Ethical decisions are lacking in profession. And now let's shift to the most noble profession of them all, doctors. Are doctors today ethically right? In the current situation scenario, they are doing something commendable. But my personal opinion is that we should not generalize. Before the spread of this pandemic, what were the kind of news that we all were listening to? Or we were very used to listen to what kind of news? Doctors were involved in all kinds of malpractices. Doctors, for instance, regularly have a cut, so they prescribe medicines which at times patients do not need. They prescribe tests which are not required. And in worst case scenarios, we have listened to those news reports wherein doctors have put patients on life support system and they keep on reporting that there's chance of survival when the patient has long passed away. This is a society, or this is the system in which we work and live. We need to take a reality check, friends. How many of doctors today actually remember the Hippocratic Oath? How many of the doctors today have the role model of Marie Curie? And why only doctors? And people involved in each and every profession, do they have proper role models to follow? How many of the people today living in society, irrespective of profession, will say that I'll act in a selfless manner like Gandhi? Now, the moment I bring in Gandhi, people start raising their eyebrows and they say that Gandhian ideals are not practical today. I'll just like to draw your attention to the fact that Nelson Mandela was a follower of Gandhi. Aung San Suu Kyi, a follower of Gandhi. So if so many international leaders can follow Gandhi, why can't we? Profession is important, but we need to remember that at the end of the day, we opt for profession so that we can be happy, but the other person should also be happy. If we are involved in a profession and our profession is creating an unrest in society, if our profession is creating problems for the other people in society, that profession is of no use. And the important thing, we can reach this level of competence if we have proper understanding. We need to work towards inculcating and developing that understanding in us. We need inputs and value education which can tell us that by opting for ethical choices, successful business models can be run. And we need inputs in our education system which can tell us that people, after opting for ethical choices in their profession, made it very big in their lives. Yes, such role models are available even today. They are there in society today, and we need to follow those people so that we can have this understanding that through profession we need to do something which can make the life of other people good, happy, and prosperous. Thank you so much. Have a great day.